Hello and welcome back to our break-even point equation. So as we have seen, the simplest form of the break-even point equation is unit sold equals to fixed cost slash contribution margin. So this is usually the easiest way to recalculate the break-even point. Let us have a look at the graphical representation of the graphical representation of the break-even point, how we can show it. So if you plot the revenue on the graph, it will look at like this line because when the price remains the fixed, and that is the basic assumption of break-even point, that no matter how much quantity you are selling, your revenue per unit will remain the same. So means that if you are selling 25 units, your revenue will be somewhere about 750. If you're selling 50, your revenue will be 1500. If you're selling 750, your revenue will be around 2200 something, and so on and so forth. So this line will be straight, cutting down in a straight line, is not going to bend like a curve or anything else, because the price remains the same. So revenue will grow as the quantities are growing. The variable cost normally, because also are a straight line, because we are assuming no matter how many quantities we produce, the labor cost will remain the same. So we have to use this basis of putting on the graph. But this is not the only cost. We have fixed cost. So let's assume we have around $2000 as fixed cost. So our total cost will become this line plus the fixed cost. So this line will start from the fixed cost. So the total cost will become this much. So here you can see that the total cost will remain fixed at 2000, and then will increase based on the quantity sold. So this is how the cost behave. But here again we are assuming no matter how many quantities we produce, no matter how many less or more, the total variable cost per unit and the fixed cost will remain the same. But that may not be the reality of your business. So you have to understand what costs are fixed, what costs are variable, and what are the relationship between the quantities being sold compared to the variable cost and fixed cost. So once you have understood it, you can plot it on the paragraph. So the break-even point will be where the total sales and total revenue and the total cost is intersecting. So the break-even point will be this one, where if they are meeting with each other. Anything which is sold beyond this break-even point, which is here, will turn into a profit, and anything which is sold below this point will result in a loss, and the loss will be equal to the total cost minus the total revenue. Let's look at a sample problem that we want to if we want to understand it. We are taking up a problem with the restaurant, dinner theater, where the rental cost is $500, staff is $1000, kitchen is $200, stage crew is $300, food cost per unit is $10. So that is variable cost, and the ticket price is 30. So now we want to understand how many minimum number of customers do we need to break even. So first step in this problem would be to identify what are the fixed costs. So take a moment, think about it, and choose what cost would be fixed. So here in this case, the fixed cost would be facilities cost, staff, kitchen staff, and staff crew. So total fixed cost of the dinner is gonna be 2000. Now what is the variable cost? The variable cost will be $10 per ticket, which we are assuming that will be a food cost. What is the revenue? Revenue is $30 per ticket. So we now know all the variables of our equation. We know the revenue per unit, we know the cost per unit, we know the facilities fixed cost. Now you can calculate the contribution margin, because that's what our basic formula is fixed asset fixed cost divide by the break even, divide by the contribution margin. So how you gonna calculate the contribution margin? Contribution margin will be your total revenue minus your revenue per unit minus the variable cost. So in this case, it will be 10 30 minus 10 will comes to $20. So $20 per unit. In terms of, you can depict the contribution margin normally as a percentage. So which is you can calculate by 20 divided by 30. Unit cost margin divided by unit selling price, which is 20 divided by 30 becomes 67%. So for every $1 sale, profit will increase by approximately 60.67. So the break even point will be 2000 divided by 30 dollars. So if you compare, if you put up the start with the whole problem again, revenue minus variable cost minus fixed cost equals profit. We put up there revenue, we don't know because we don't know the number of tickets sold. So we will say 30 multiplied by the number of tickets sold minus 10 multiplied by the number of tickets sold minus 2000 will should become 0. So if you rearrange this, it will become 30 minus 10 into the tickets minus 2000 equals 0, which will also can be written as contribution margin, which is $20 into tickets minus 2000 equals 0. Or you can say that tickets equals to the 2000 fixed cost, tickets equal to 2000 divided by 20, where the break even point will comes to 100. So it means that we should sell 100 covers to be able to make no profit and no loss. Let's check it out if this is reality. So if in on the graphical representation, we have plotted our numbers here, which we have already done. So if we put up into the plugging, put into the equation, $30 into 100 minus 10 into 100 minus 2000 equals 0 will become 0. So the equation is right. So our calculation was correct. Now here are some questions that as a owner of the business you should be understanding and the critically think about it. Is this quantity of tickets being feasible? Can we really sell 100 tickets? Will do we have the enough capacity to sell 100 tickets? What can be if we are not able to sell 100 tickets, what cost we can influence? Can we reduce the fixed cost? Can we reduce the labor cost? Can we reduce the stage crew cost? Can we reduce the rental? What how fixed asset will how the fixed cost will change if we get a higher business? If we are getting 120 tickets, do we need additional chairs? Do we need additional rental? Do we need additional servers? How it will change? Will there be any capacity constraints? What if, how can the staff be reduced if we sell only 50 tickets or 70 tickets? We be able to reduce the number of fixed costs, or what will be the impact on our variable cost? If we are selling 100, well, the cost will remain same at 10 $10 per ticket, or if we are able to sell only 50, will still be at 10 or gonna be more. So these are the critical thinking questions that you should put into the scenario. So what we need now next is to calculate a sensitivity and the scenario planning. So which we for which we should move into Excel. So let's look at the Excel to create a couple of scenarios. What will happen in different situations by answering the critical questions that we have just asked.